And now, the main news on Radio Chingalo, brought to you by Musmili and Sabja Catholic University. Radio Chingalo, restoring everything in Christ with love and truth. Good afternoon with the main news. I'm Kennedy Mbewe Jr. Kindly be informed that we're also streaming live on the Radio Chingalo Facebook page to you watching us live on Facebook. The headlines. Mother Church celebrates the solemnity of Christ the King. Kakoso Level 1 Hospital in Chilawombe lack adequate health personnel. Mufulira wanderers are beat in Changa Ranges. The details. Christians have been urged to enthrone Christ in their lives as the Church celebrates the solemnity of Christ the King today, and the faithful have been implored to emulate the kingship of Christ that is of service to others. Speaking in his homily when he celebrated Mass at St. Matthew, the Apostle Parish this morning, Parish priest Father Cornelius Savoia said Christians should let Christ be the king of their lives and in their families. Father Warrior said the kingship of Christ, which should be emulated, is that of concern and care for others, especially those in prisons, the sick, homeless, strangers, and feeding the hungry.
Again, we find that avoided who were defensive bonded people who are different from their family. Why did they utilize that language and why will you absent over it? Those are the things. That's why I say, I am looking at the things.
And the Cathedral of Christ the King community in Ndola has celebrated today's solemnity of Christ the King with an emphasis on the kingship of Jesus Christ. The Feast of Christ the King concludes the Catholic liturgical calendar year A ahead of the Advent season that starts next Sunday. Catholic Diocese of Ndola Bishop Benjamin Mbewe celebrated their morning Mass in the Cathedral with an emphasis on the importance of Jesus' kingship. And speaking to Radio Chingalo News, Cathedral Administrator Father Lewis Mtachela said today's feast is important to the Cathedral of Christ the King community and the entire church. Father Mtachela said there is need for the faithful to convert and allow Jesus Christ to be at the center of their lives.
Christ can truly be the King of our lives. And Christ can be King of our lives when we also look after the underprivileged, the less privileged, those who need our care, like the hungry, those who are naked, we clothe them, those who are homeless, we take care of them, those strangers, we also look after them, and also do everything in the Christian charity. By so doing, we are going to inherit ourselves a place in heaven when Christ will come as a church. So this is the meaning of our celebration today, and we wish all Christians, Catholic Christians, at this day of Christ the King. Indeed, Christ is the King. Let us acclaim His King of our lives.
Now, the shift to agriculture from copper dependence is gaining momentum, with the miners now coming together to form agriculture cooperatives under an initiative called Miners for Diversification Initiative (MDI). The MDI was launched last Friday at Nkana Golf Club by Fisheries and Livestock Minister Professor Nkanluo with a view of contributing to national food basket through diversification. Speaking during the launch, Professor Luo says copper is a diminishing product and that the only way the country's economy can be boosted is through diversification by venturing into agriculture. Professor Luo, who applauded the miners for the initiative, promised them over government support, saying the country will only be developed by Zambians with entrepreneurial minds. And giving a vote of thanks, MDI National Coordinator Gilan Mwanga assured Professor Luo that the organization would not disappoint government on the initiative it has embarked on. Mr. Mwanga says miners have realized the importance of having various streams of income, adding that 12 agriculture cooperatives belonging to active miners and some members of the community have so far been registered under MDI. She disclosed that for starters, Kalushmia Rashida Mlenga has provided them with a 2 hectares piece of land in Chambishi's Misaka area. To Masaiti now, where an ablution block has been constructed at a council market in that district. The market has been operating for a long time without proper toilets, according to traders. And speaking during the handover ceremony, Masaiti District Council Chairperson Christine Shande says the local authority has addressed the cry of the traders and the general public. She wants the traders to look after the infrastructure well.
Has existed without a public toilet. This status quo prompted my office and indeed myself as an individual to see to it that we came through and attended to the plight of our marketeers and business personnel, as well as the general public, with a decent public toilet. The handing over of the public toilet could not have come at a better day than this. It is in this regard that I implore you to jealously guard this facility against vandalism and ensuring that it is kept clean at all times.
In Chilabumbwe, Kakosole 1 hospital in Chilabumbwe has been lacking adequate health personnel since being upgraded from a clinic in 2018. This has made patients who access medical services at the facility to complain, saying they wait for long hours on the queue before being attended to.
Hospital. Firechi kataviri wino. Amana says ishita yakomoka ngayakumana vana valekomoka exactly yayi but vena avafukuchera vachita report kono pamafoni amawatona pamafacebook saka vanongochita supervisor amona ngakuche varehomba naviri wino nataviri wino varesha vaviri varekomboka venechita ngayakumana inende for kwati kuti kopano pakakoso hospital vafike varuta kumani power so that abantu ngavaisa iye vakurizo kuvachita attend so that conjunction yavo vati yachipanako nokuti muntu from 8 hours asvika pakiliniki 12 hours varifunoko kwakurikuchita attend so sometimes usika kuti muntu unarwara unotoita kuti zvinosonga wangu attend ita problem nechichaemera kupa munhu
toyaishanya kuno kuchera bombo nowombera kuno pano paclinic pakakoso clinic tairi bwino umuntu nangwese murwere tavamuposta kwamano venda vakulamba ulafi umuntu wafwire mung'anda chose testa kulafi yakinishi mwavuta murere mwari kuisa but situma nangwese hospital tavale chitakeya varwere mwaisa apo valefwaira vakavapo valate meno wafe vakulaishafi nomba vikeni vavakuvati vatwafwirisheko.
Over 1,000 engineering companies are operating without registration with the Engineering Institute of Zambia, EIZ. EIZ Statutes and Compliance and past President George Sitali has also disclosed that out of the 3,735 engineering companies that currently exist in the country, only 2,665 are registered and comply with the law. Mr. Staley also noted that 15,836 individuals have so far registered with the Institute, but was quick to state that only 11,000 adhere to the EIZ Act, which represents about 74% of compliance levels. He has since called on the Institute to follow up all companies and individuals that have not registered and not complying with the law. Mr. Staley said this last Friday in his presentation during a media breakfast held at Garden Court Hotel in Kitwe. In sports, 2 goals in each half were enough for Mufulira Wanderers to beat Nchanga Rangers in a Week 4 First Eden University National League played at Shinde Stadium in Mufulira yesterday. Fizi Chivandika put Maite in the lead 8 minutes into the match before Lima Ndeke sealed the victory with a powerful long-range strike in the dying minutes of the second half. Speaking after the match, Mufulira Wanderers coach Tenan Chembo said he was building a winning team.
the strongest team in the country, so to say. We took our chances. We took our chances. They had their own chances as well. But the only difference was we took our chances. Now, it's all about building the winning mentality. If you build the winning mentality in a team, they might be much better. But it's still evident that we need to be consistent.
Tenant Chembo. Meanwhile, this afternoon, Wounded Nkana will host Zanaco in the FAS Super League in order to impress the fans after an embarrassing 5-0 defeat suffered at the hands of Green Buffaloes last Wednesday. Under pressure, Kalamba are seeking to vent their anger on the visitors and win the game by all means. In their last meeting with Zanaco during the 2019-2020 season, played at Nkana Stadium, Nkana beat Zanaco by 3-0. This news broadcast comes to you in the community service of Radio Chingalo with compliments of Moose Meeting and the Zambia Catholic University. International news as monitored from the BBC. Burkina Faso is holding an election in which some 400,000 would-be voters were unable to register because of a jihadist insurgency. Brutal attacks have forced more than 1 million civilians from their homes in the past 2 years alone. Campaigning was halted for 48 hours last week following a deadly ambush on soldiers in the north of the country. The threat of violence has meant hundreds of polling stations in the worst affected areas have not opened. A former guerrilla fighter who used to jam the communication network over Ethiopian troops, Debretsion Michael, is now leading the fight against Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's government for control of the northern Tigray region described as the womb of the nation. Mr. Debretsion leads the Tigray People's Liberation Front, TPLF, a party which controls Tigray and which has fallen out so dramatically with Mr. Abiy. Now married with a young child, Mr. Debretsion cut short his studies at the University of Addis Ababa in the 1970s to join the TPLF in its 17-year war against Marxist ruler Mengistu Haile Mariam's Dege regime. He then went to be a government minister after Derg had been defeated and replaced by a coalition of parties dominated by the TPLF until Mr. Abiy came into power in 2018. And finally, to the US. A judge in Pennsylvania has dismissed a lawsuit from the Trump campaign that sought to invalidate millions of mail-in votes in the battleground state. Judge Matthew Brown said the suit, which rested on allegations of irregularities, was without merit. The move paves the way for Pennsylvania to next week certify Joe Biden's win. He leads by more than 80,000 votes. It is the latest blow to Donald Trump, who is trying to overturn his loss in the 3 November presidential election. He has refused to concede and made allegations of widespread electoral fraud without providing any evidence.
Of dollars of negative advertisements against me during the campaign, which I won, by the way. But, find that out. Almost 74 million votes. We had Big Pharma against us. We had the media against us. We had Big Tech against us. We had a lot of dishonesty against us. But Big Pharma alone ran millions and millions of dollars in ads. In fact, I looked at it and said, who is it? I've never seen anything quite like it because I told them I'm going to have to do this. I was put here to do a job.
And on that note, we end this afternoon's main news on Radio Chingalo. For these and more stories, you can visit our Facebook page and log on to Facebook and like the Radio Chingalo page and link to Radio Chingalo to 31245.com. You can still listen to the rebroadcast of the news on our YouTube channel. Also listen to Radio Chingalo on Radio Garden because we are active and available on that particular platform. Remember to play your part in the fight against the COVID-19 by wearing a mask when in public, avoiding large groups and maintaining social distance, avoiding unnecessary movements and washing your hands frequently for at least 20 seconds. On behalf of the entire news team, my name is Kennedy Mbewe Jr. You join us for the Yashin to coming your way out of the house. Thank you so much for listening. Have yourself a lovely Sunday afternoon as you enjoy listening to the Station of Light, Radio Chingalo.